Hi everybody, this is Stephanie with a video by special request. This is a little different than my usual card reading, but I had a special request about doing a video on the law of attraction and how to attract a specific person. So I will address that aspect at the end of the video. This shouldn't be very long, but I just want to talk about law of attraction in general. So it comes up sometimes in the weekly card readings about how to work with affirmations or mantras and how to always phrase things as if you already have the thing you want to manifest. And also to always phrase things in the positive. So, for example, you wouldn't say, I don't want to be sick. You would say, I am thankful for my perfect health. Do you see the difference energetically between those two statements? Both accomplishing the same thing. You want the same thing out of them. You want to feel well and be free of disease or illness. But one, every time you say it, still focuses on the disease or illness or the feeling unwell, where the other focuses on moving out of that and into perfect health. So, where do you want to put your thoughts? What do you want to attract? You want to attract perfect health. So that's what you want to be repetitive about. Because the law of attraction is about reprogramming our subconscious in order to create a new reality. There are a few different methods I'll talk about very briefly. There are a million or more videos here on YouTube from people who specialize in law of attraction videos. About how to work with these. If you need more information, I'm going to explain each of the ones that I'm familiar with briefly, but there is a ton of information out there, or I'm happy to make more expansive videos about each of these if you'd like. So the ones I'll talk about today are mantras and affirmations, which we just touched on, and the 2 cups method, the 3x33, 4x44, and 5x55 methods, which are kind of similar, as you might guess. And then the 369 method that is attributed to Nikola Tesla. So all of these, including just basic law of attraction, working with a mantra or affirmation, would start with your desire statement or your mantra or affirmation. So there is kind of a collective thinking based on the work of Abraham Hicks, if you're familiar with that. If not, there's a lot of people that talk about it here on YouTube. Abraham Hicks is Esther Hicks. She was originally one of the contributors to the movie The Secret, which sort of spurred the whole law of attraction movement. It was very well put together. I believe her portion of it was eliminated before the movie came out. But nonetheless, the movie was very informative and got a lot of people thinking more positively, or at least being conscious of their thoughts. But Esther Hicks channels a collective consciousness known as Abraham. So together they're known as Abraham Hicks. A really great collection of how to think more positively and how to kind of monitor our thoughts without being scared of them. You don't want to worry that every time you think a negative thought, it's going to come to fruition. And it's not. We have a grace period, thankfully. You know, we have to work with something a lot before it's going to come into our reality. So every time you think, ugh, I don't feel good, you're not going to get more of that. It has to be a repetitive thought, repetitive enough that it sort of embeds itself in our physical reality, in our energy field, or as a loop pattern in our brain neurologically. So it takes a lot of effort to get something going. And we can do that with negative thoughts. I mean, a lot of us feel poorly about ourselves, or there's a part of our body we don't like. And so, you know, we've had these thoughts going for a long time, and it takes a while to undo those loop patterns. But it can be done by reprogramming the subconscious and shifting your reality. So, again, briefly, make sure your desire statement, affirmation, or mantra is focused in a positive way, and that it is focused currently. Like I said, you would use, I am in perfect health. I am grateful for my healthy body. I am thankful for my strong legs. You know, those sort of I am statements are very powerful. We've talked about that before in videos. I am statements are very powerful, and always making sure that it is said as if you already have it, or possess it, or it is already in your reality is very powerful. Not that you're always reaching for it in the future. You don't want to always be in that state of reaching for it. You want it to be as if it's already in your reality. So that's why we do that way. Gratitude is the driving force behind this statement. So you want to be, I am thankful, I am grateful, as if you already have it and as if you are already thankful that it is in your reality. So that's the biggest thing. The other things are sort of methods to get these into our subconscious. So the 2 cups method, the 3 by 33, 4 by 44, 5 by 55, and the 369 methods are ways to incorporate that positive affirmation that's going to change our subconscious. It's a repetitive way to give us some structure for working with it. And the more we work with it, the faster it's going to get into our subconscious. The faster it gets into our subconscious and we believe it with all of our being, the faster it becomes part of our reality. So, 2 cups method. You have 1 empty cup, you have 1 cup, no, you have 1 cup full of water, and 1 empty cup. I guess they could be on either side. Since they're imaginary, it doesn't really matter at this point. But you have a cup full of water and an empty cup. And on one sticky note, or however you want to affix it to these cups, you would write your current reality on a sticky note and put it on the cup that is full of water. You would put your desired outcome or desired reality on a sticky note and put it on the empty cup. And then you're really going to focus on those cups and you're really going to sit with the emotions of those cups. How do I currently feel? What do I feel about this current statement? Sit with that. And then really focus on your desired outcome, your desired reality, and make it just as real, the emotions, the feelings in your body. How do you feel when you have that outcome? And then what you're going to do, you're going to go into a quiet place so you can really focus on this. Don't do it while you're cooking dinner or making breakfast or anything like that. You want it to be more of a ritual. And then what you're going to do is focus on these 2 cups, and you're going to take the cup that's full of water that contains your current reality or more negative statement, and you're going to pour that into the empty cup that contains your positive desired outcome. And as you do that, really focus on hearing it and seeing it and feeling it pour into there. And then, sit with it for a little while and really feel the vibrations of that positive statement, that desired outcome, infusing the water. And I will put a link below in the description about, there's Dr. Emoto, who did some studies on water. And if we hold a vessel of water, and we think nasty thoughts about ourselves or about the water or about anything in general, negative thoughts, the structure, the molecular structure of the water becomes very chaotic and stays that way. If we freeze it, it freezes into shards, and when we look at it under a microscope, the structure looks very chaotic. If we fill that water or another vessel of water with love, loving thoughts, positive affirmations, and love in general, love being the most positive emotion there is, it's a very beautiful structure, like snowflakes, gorgeous and happy and joyful, and stays that way when we freeze it. So that's the thought behind the 2 cups method. We're taking that chaos, that negativity, and we are turning it into something beautiful, the positive outcome that we want. Then we have the 3 by 33, 4 by 44, and 5 by 55 methods. These are all different. There are different purposes for using each of them, from what I have read, but for the purposes of this video, we will just kind of lump them together. These, you would devise your statement, your sort of affirmation or your desire statement about what you're trying to manifest. And you would then have I think it's good to have a specific notebook. You don't have to. There's nothing that says you have to do this any certain way. But for me, when I do these statements, I have a specific notebook. I even have a specific pen that I use, and sit. And again, do it quietly. Don't do this when you're distracted. You want this to be a mindful process. That's part of what makes it work. For the 3 by 33, you will 3 times a day write out your statement 3 times. So, logically, we would do it morning, noon, and night. and each time writing out your desire statement or your affirmation 3 times. For the 4x44, it would be 4 times a day, 4 times each time. And for the 5x55, it would be 5 times a day, writing out the desire statement or affirmation 5 times. Now, I do believe it works if you do it verbally. I don't know that you have to write it. When I do any of these methods, I do it orally or verbally. I find that I am more mindful and more focused when I am reading it. Obviously, I write it out one time, and I write it out until I have it the way I want it, and then I write it out neatly and kind of turn it into almost like a card, an affirmation card. So I don't, what I'm reading from isn't like scribbled out. And sometimes it takes me a while to really phrase things in a way that feels like it flows correctly and is true to what I want to manifest. So once you have it there and you know it's the one you want to work with, then that's the one you would use to write out or say. And I do know other people who will use a recorder app on their phone and they will speak it into it and then they will play it the desired number of times per day. I kind of feel like it's more mindful if you at least are speaking it, if it is coming out of your body. But if you resonate with listening to it more than you do writing or speaking, then that's the method you should use. But with any of these, like I said, it's going to be 3 times a day, 4 times a day, or 5 times a day. Whether you do it in writing, verbally, or listening. And that's going to help you reprogram that subconscious and bring this into your reality. And then the 369 method, which is attributed to Nikola Tesla. I'm not sure exactly how it became a manifestation tool, but I'll also put a link to an article about this down below if I can find one. Nikola Tesla, who I believe was a genius, he says the 369 sort of code or sequence is the key to the universe. So then it has been kind of turned into a way to manifest things. So with the 369 method, you would do the same thing, your desire statement or your affirmation, and you would write it out until you really have it finely tuned. And then you would read it, speak it, listen to it, or write it, whatever way resonates with you, 3 times in the morning, 6 times midday, and 9 times in the evening. And you would do this. Different people recommend different numbers of days. I sort of just intuitively feel like 33 is the correct number of days. I know other people do it for maybe 21 days because that's always has been said to be the number of days it takes to form a new habit or reprogram your subconscious. So whatever you feel guided to, but it is a longer process, and when I do this one, I do it for 33 days. I also do it orally, so I speak it 3 times in the morning, speak it 6 times in the afternoon, and speak it 9 times in the evening, because that's sort of what I'm guided to do. So those are just kind of the things I've worked with in the past. Now, back to the reason for this video. I probably shouldn't hold a pen when I make videos, but it was, again, can you please make a reading on the law of attraction, how to attract a specific person? So back to the question and the reason for me making this video. You can use any of these methods for that. I personally do not believe that we can use our powers to affect the free will of another person. So bringing in love is one of the I don't want to say most difficult, because it's not difficult, but it's one of the things that we have to be careful of the way we do it. It's like, be careful of what you ask for is kind of the old adage, be careful what you ask for, because we don't want to affect other people's free will. What we want to do is make ourselves an energetic match for the perfect person to come in. So there's a huge difference between saying, okay, this person over here, I want to make them love me. And what if they're not really the person you thought they were? Or, what if you don't know them that well, and, once you get past the superficial stuff, you're like, oh, that wasn't what I expected at all. So it is one of those be careful what you wish for things, because what we want to do is make ourselves as healthy, whole, and full of self love and self respect as we possibly can. Because when we are that healthy, whole, loving person, what we are going to draw into our reality automatically by the law of attraction, because like attracts like, what we are going to draw into our reality is a matching, healthy, whole, and loving person. So rather than focusing on drawing in a specific person, I believe that it is in our best interest, in our highest good, to focus on ourselves and focus on making ourselves as loving and healthy and whole as possible, so that we get that match, that vibrational match, that energetic match in return. And then that person will be perfect for us because they're a match for us and we are healthy and whole. So I know that was the long way around to answer that question. I hope you stuck with me through this whole thing. Again, if you want more information on any of this, just let me know. But that's sort of a synopsis on the law of attraction that I'm familiar with and how to manifest things. So I hope it helps, and I hope I'll see you all next week.